Good day, welcome back to my channel. Here is Volodymyr Katansky and you are on the Freelancer CEO Journey podcast. Today I want to talk about a very important topic that helps, in my experience, running my organization, the very source of quantitative metrics that helped stay my company profitable. And this is a time tracking. This is a very controversial topic, and today we're going to talk about why it creates so much hassle, how it can be valuable, and how can you employ it without inflicting too much pain to your team. So, the time tracker is an evil. Why people think so, especially workers who is actually obligated to track time. They think that Big Brother is watching you because most of the time when it comes to time tracker, there is association that someone's gonna watch you doing your job, which is, I do agree, is very stressful and affects the productivity. So we've been there very long ago, and we've seen the tracker helping us fight the fraud and scam in the remote working industry, because we were hiring people from distant lands and it was pretty hard to prove whether they're working on it or they just delegate the job to someone else. But these dark times are pretty over, and it can be fixed with a proper onboarding process, hiring, and other stuff. We're going to talk about the value of the tracker, which works as observatory and helps you actually report. So tracker can be helpful if it's not enforcing person to constantly think about it. So thing number one is that the time tracker should not catch the attention of your team. For example, in work layer, as you can see on my screen, we hide it in the new interface even further from what it was before into this small icon. So I don't see the ticking timer, which let me really start to think a lot about tracking instead of doing my job. Another item is actual planning. So every time time tracking is mentioned, it means you gotta be paid for the time that is used with the tracker, which is wrong. So what we did in our company, and what we would recommend to do anyone else, is not to enforce the tracking in that regard. However, it's also can beat the purpose of the tracker. So how to find the golden mean here? In our scenario with work layer, we have two modes of the tracker. One is just turn on, turn off on the global scale. So anytime I start the job, I start this high level tracker, and anytime I have a break from the job, I'm just turning it off. And the high precision tasks tracking, which actually produces this huge value to the organization, it comes from the proper planning done by project managers. So in this example, as you can see on the work paths page, which is default tab for every project, I see all of my tasks here on the top, which helps me understand what's on my pipeline. And I don't need to bang my head around thinking looking at the classic board, seeing the whole team tasks, and do not actually understand what's going on. What should I pick first? Who I need to talk with? And yeah, keep in mind that there is a tracker. So if I'm not tracking for a specific task, I might have questions. This definitely puts a lot of stress. But if the team is working collectively on making everyone's lives easier, it will never be the case. And this is what we have achieved in our company. So the example is very simple in the recipe as well. First of all, use the software which does not drag too much attention from your team to the time tracker itself. It should be as easy, as seamless as possible. So I start the job, I click one button, we have a short check-in session, and that's it. The tracker is starting ticking time. And I'm gonna even skip it. It's fine. And I should not even remember about the tracker unless my day is over or I'm going on the break. Or if you track the break, you just need to turn it off in the end of the day. That's it. End of story. Now, when it comes to the second layer, more precise, when I look at my task here, this job has to be done by the project manager. I shouldn't worry about the priorities. I shouldn't worry about anything except for my specific job. On the other hand, if I'm a project manager, it is my duty to make sure the team is efficient. So by delegating the responsibilities in this way, it's already much easier. Now, what value it can provide to me and my project manager? First of all, of course, it's sort of responsibility and accountability. Responsibility in the way I do understand that this is a project, this is a set of tasks I'm working on. So it's in my best efforts, I need to make sure it's clean and clear. And it's easy because I know what I'm focusing at. On the project management side, it's important for me to make sure everyone in my team has enough job to do. And as soon as people track in time, I can gather some interesting stats on the timeline. So I can see who is working on what. I can quickly react and help cover them so they never find themselves in the situation of like what's going on. So this collective efforts, this teamwork is essential to make sure the time tracking is not put into a way. And why would you need this? Do you find this thing is like challenging? Please let me know in the comments if so. But the value that tracker provides is simply unbeatable to me with any other tools, because I see the information in real time, because I know who is working on what at any given point in time in my project as a project manager, or on the high level as a C-level management. I can go to the overview and look at what my entire organization is working on at this point in time. It's very helpful if you bring the client to the project as well. They start to see this. I do agree that it depends on the case-by-case basis, but if you have, let's say, a time and material type of the contract, you would definitely wouldn't want to generate too much reports if the system can offer this to your client. This is what WorkLayer offers out of the box, so the client can see like literally as they would go to your office on site and see what the team is working on. Now, on top of that, we have automatically generated reports, so nobody actually sit and waste time on gathering the information that's already in the system, just one button click. And it's also helpful for the team themselves, because they can go to invoicing, they can click a few buttons on generating their invoice, and that's it. All of their job is already accounted, so it makes the life easier for everyone. Let me know in the comments what do you think about the time tracking. It's a very controversial topic. There is a lot of pros and cons. I find it very stressful when these small items are not paid enough attention to, but in general, I can't see our organization being successful without the time tracker. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Please like it if it is so, subscribe, and I see you in the next video.